It Paints Me is a short free visual novel games player taking the role of a painter struggling to create a masterpiece in a gothic horror setting. The game focuses on themes of art, pain, and love. It's designed to be a brief experience with the main story taking around 16 minutes. Hey, okay, let's play it. Okay, start game starto. Every night I find myself alone in the studio, curtains drawn tight, my neat row of paints, palette, and brushes in the same place on the drawer by the easel. The canvas upon it sits, as always, unfinished, Mary's half-painted face frozen in silent song. It's laid out, as it always is when I awaken here. Mary is nowhere to be found. She must still be in the theater. Even when the curtains fall and the stage lights dim, the night is forever young to its star sopranos. I would always wait outside her dressing room, roses in hand, scores of other bright-eyed admirers spilling through the halls, though she alone was mine, and I was hers. It's cold, bitterly cold tonight, but still I draw the curtains and open the windows wide. There's a stench in the room, deep and damp and sickly sweet, that I can't ever seem to be rid of. Besides that, the fumes from the listened oil make my head spin. Like every night, I measure out my paints, arranging the small dabs of color on my palette from the lightest to the darkest, titanium white and cadmium yellow to corpse brown and lamp black. I wet my brush with oil and gently start mixing the pigments. It feels just a little bit like magic, watching them swirl and mix, forming new colors from old. Paint her hair, I paint her face. Let's give her a face first. I mix a tone as warm as her cheeks as I envision Mary's sweet face in my mind's eye. Her lips like rose, the graceful turn of her nose, those eyes that glittered like stars under candlelight. It's no use. I can't focus. Her features are as blurred in my mind as the mess of oil and pigment smeared across my canvas. I sigh and scrape it off with a palette knife and mix a deep blend of black and red for the background instead. I apply my paint with a generous dab of oil, but it seems I didn't have to. The canvas is still wet from last night and the night before. I must have painted and repainted the same background countless times. To say it's difficult to paint by lamplight, my muse nowhere in sight, is an understatement, of course. But lately, these nightly hours are the only time I find myself able to lift my brush. I stop every few strokes. I joked that the pain that forced me away from the tailor's shop meant I could finally return to my paintings at the very least. I was never any good at humor. Mary had sensed my worries, consoled me sweetly in her voice that could charm stone to life.
Oh, Sam, don't worry. I have roles lined up for months. Go ahead and paint. We can still live comfortably.
It hurt. A small part of it did. Beyond the physical, beyond the ailments, to seek her permission. To be unable to care for my darling the way I had when we were young, brimming with talent but crushingly unknown. Well, she had been. I was and still am. Nothing. But perhaps, finally, it would now be my turn to bring my vision to the world. If only it didn't hurt so damn much. Time passes, and I still don't manage more than a few strokes. A small patch of dark over an already wet canvas. Or perhaps time hasn't passed at all. The broken clock on the wall would suggest as much. Perhaps the seconds have laid still, the world outside unchanging, and I, the only thing that moves. Have I moved? Is repeating the same brushstrokes like a clockwork doll movement? I shiver and sigh. Perhaps sleep would be a better endeavor. Perhaps the next night will meet more success. I stand, setting aside my paints and palette, and slowly move to shut the windows. I stop. There, out in the front garden, barely lit by a street lamp, stands a figure that can only be Marie. She bids goodbye to another figure, tall and broad-shouldered, and then she laughs, a beautiful laugh, a heart-filled laugh, and embraces him before he makes his reluctant exit on a carriage stopped by the gate. For a moment, I don't know what to think. A friend, co-star, perhaps. That admirable tenor she mentioned every now and then. I didn't see his face, but Mary's social circle has always eclipsed my own. It must be, but why would he come to our home? Why would she laugh that way? In the garden, in the midst of walking to the front door, humming to herself, Marie suddenly looks up. For a moment, her eyes go wide, and she blinks as if shaking herself from a daze. I instinctively step back from the windows. Perhaps it's guilt that makes me do so. Marie is finally home, and oh, I've missed her so. How could the first thing I think upon seeing my darling be the worst thoughts that my mind could conjure? For the first time in many, many nights, I feel just well enough to leave the studio. I'll prepare Marie a pot of her favorite chamomile tea. I'll listen as she tells me of the nights, the theater, the thousand small anecdotes she never runs out of, and maybe, just maybe, ask her again to sit for a portrait for me, like she used to. The house feels larger than it used to. Perhaps I was shut in the studio too long. Still, how could I so quickly become a stranger to my own home? The memories are fuzzy, the years blur together like a wash of oil colors. My mother and I carrying our sparse luggage, stepping inside for the first time. My stepfather laughing, his elbows on the breakfast table, chattering over something he'd read in the paper. Then silent hallways and empty rooms. And then myself welcoming my new bride to these solitary halls, hanging our newly taken portraits above the mantel. The walls are barren now. I feel the walls in the dark, leaving sticky trails of paint behind, tracing the places where I used to hang. The photographs, the paintings, say the photographs. The walls were laid bare, the pictures that hung on the pale wallpaper are gone, blurry gray photographs of my parents, myself as a boy, and Mary. Is she Mary or Marie? Hold on. It's Marie, isn't it? I've been saying her name wrong all this time. Each displayed in filigree frame. Even our wedding photograph, the two of us dressed in fine clothes I'd sewn myself, smiling like fools even while our picture was taken, for how could we wear solemn faces on such a joyous day? Bro, he's pretty as so she. It too is gone. The pale wallpaper stands bare, stripped to its bone. Confused, but with nowhere else to go, I continue through the house. As I walk, I pass the furniture my stepfather left me. The shelves and tables that always seemed so large and grand as a boy, now missing or mantled in thick white linen. They remind me of corpses on a hospital table, lying dead still, covered in sheets. Marie? I try to call out, but phlegm blocks my throat. I cough, long and drawn out and wet, and then once more attempt to voice her name. Marie? It slicks off my tongue like a serpent uncoiling. I had always loved her name, so tender and sweet, free of harsh syllables. Marie. It was a name like an impressionist fleur, painted in soft strokes with the fine oil brush. It was the greatest joy in the world to join my name to hers. Silence fills the halls, a long, drawn-out silence, a held breath. Finally, my darling answers.
Sam. Is this a dream?
I cough again, another long, wet trail dripping from my lips.
Is it a good dream, darling?
I don't know. It feels like a nightmare. An awful, wretched nightmare.
I limped towards the sound of her voice, so musical, so lovely, even at the brink of tears. Don't cry, darling, I want to say, but thick, syrupy liquid fills my throat. No matter what troubles you, I am here. She stands at the edge of the staircase, shaking, a candlestick in hand. The steps are sticky and wet. I inch carefully, practically at a crawl, not to slip. My darling lifts the candle as I approach. In the dark of the house, its flickering flame almost blinds me. I don't see the expression on her face as she screams.
Marie? Where are you, my darling?
Every word feels like a dagger punching my throat. I limp down each hall, leaving a trail of steps that feel damp and heavy, slick and wet. I try the door to our bedroom. No, Marie's room. I'd started sleeping in the spare one when my coughing fits would wake her in the night. It was cold, so cold, alone, but my darling needed her rest. Though it's completely dark when I peer inside, I know it's empty. No warmth, no flesh, no sound of sweet breath within. I continue down the hall. I trudge my steps heavy and wet, trying not to slip over the thick, slick surface.
Marie? What's wrong, darling? Please, come out. I don't understand.
The dining room is empty, truly empty. The shelves where the china and silverware were once neatly stacked now gape hollow. The walnut table is covered in a thick, white sheet. The matching set of chairs removed. I rest against the blanketed table. My hand leaves a ruddy smear against the sheet. It must be more paint, though it's hard to make out in the dark. I'd need spectacles for quite some time, but Marie had never liked the bookish type. I continue on through the familiar yet unfamiliar house, my steps strained and slow, my breath short, sticky, wet.
Marie! Where are you? Oh, Marie, it hurts. Won't you come to me?
I hear the front door slam shut. It must be freezing cold out. Why has she gone into the garden? I tread to the sound with new urgency, uncaring of the sticky, wet floors, forgetting for just a moment the pain that snaps and burns through my flesh. I reach for the oily, damp knob.
Don't! Sam! Please!
Her voice rings from behind the door.
I don't understand, darling. Have I done something to upset you?
Her sobs echo loudly. I never thought an ugly sound could come from my darling's lips. But her words...
I love you, Sam. I always will. But I can't bear to see you like this. Please, I beg of you, return to where you came. You can't be here. I've moved on now.
Girl, he is not even dead yet. You could have at least waited until he died.
What? Return where? Dearest, you aren't making any sense. Moved on? I'm your husband, Marie. What on earth is there to move on from?
Please remember, Sam.
Was he a zombie or some shit? A ghost? Are we not real?
You were ill. You were ill for a long, long time. And you never recovered.
I know I'm unwell, Marie. But you said we would still... Are you leaving me? Because I can't care for you anymore? Is that it?
You left me!
Yeah, he died. We're dead.
You're dead, Sam!
Said it.
You've been dead for more than a year.
If this is a joke, darling, it's a cruel one. Do you want me dead? Is that it? Am I better off dead to you?
My darling does nothing but sob behind the door. How quickly I regret my words. Oh, if only I could see her face, look into her eyes, reassure her, and see that she loves me still. I twist the knob with slick, oily hands.
No! Don't come out! Please!
On the other end, with a sharp gasp, my darling grasps the knob closed, pushing the weight of her small frame against the withered wood.
Don't come out!
Oh, force the door open or let her go. If we're dead, we should let her go. I let go of the door, my hand slicking off its oily surface.
Forgive me, Marie. I can see that you don't want to speak to me right now. But whenever you do, whatever this is about, I'll be waiting in the studio.
I leave the door. I leave my darling alone, sobbing, in the garden. It's dark, so very dark, but dawn will soon paint that dim, black sky. I retrace my slick, wet footsteps through the hall, up the staircase, one trudging, damp step at a time. He's made out of paint, isn't he?
Spirits, it hurts.
It burns. I feel no breath in my lungs. My chest could be hollow cavity, slippery and wet, spilling with hot, sticky fluid.
It hurts. Oh, it hurts.
I stagger into a tall, sheet-covered object, the linen sliding off with the grasp of my clumsy, slick fingers. It's Marie's floor-length mirror.
Oh, no. No, 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 no!
Oh, he's like a zombie. How's he talking with no jaw, though? I'm in the studio, a dark, dim studio, as empty as it is every night. The curtains are shut, the lamps are unlit. My palette is a mess of murky colors, rust reds, corpse browns, a musky, sickly, sweetly rotting stench fills the room. I don't know why the smell of linseed oil ever bothered me. After all, I no longer breathe. The handle of the door turns behind me. Slowly, it creaks open and a figure steps inside. It's me. He limps more than he steps in crooked motions against the floor, dragging his body along a wet, wide brush of swaths of red pools at his feet. I watch him pull himself before the canvas.
Samuel.
He speaks in my mother's voice, a tone that could swell with warmth or desertion, command or dependency, pride or disappointment in a moment's notice.
Please, give up your suffering. Give up this. Come back to the earth with me.
My hands are too slick to hold my brush. I stab it into the flesh and mix in between my bones, then dip the bristles into his blood.
Sammy.
He speaks in my stepfather's voice, but without laughter or joy. In the same cadence, I imagined him taking his last breath, crimson staining his uniform, the dog tags cold around his neck.
Don't suffer anymore, Sam. You are nothing already. Forget your pain. Return to the void with us.
My brush is drying. I plunge it into his chest to wet it with his oily breath.
Sam?
He speaks with my voice, hoarse and raspy and tired. So very, very tired.
This won't make you worthy of love. Not the world's, not Marie's, not your friends or peers or critics. Come back to our grave. End our suffering. You know I don't do this for love.
I clean my brush with the paint thinner, knocking over the jar as it spills across the drawer and onto the wet, soaken floor. I dry the bristles on my worn, rotting shirt and soak it in the thick, white mucus of his tears. My words are only partially true, just as words are not fully wrong. Neither my rotting corpse nor the memory of what was Sam will gain a thing from this toil. I paint the hours away, or perhaps take no time at all. The clock on the wall never turns its hands, suggesting that the world lies still. The seconds never pass, and I am the only thing that moves with it. It hurts. Oh, it hurts. Heavy, syrupy tears flood my vision, fill my throat, my chest, choking me. Every movement of my hands leaves cracks in what's left of my brittle bones. He stares at me, all the while, silent, still, like a mirror. If I loved him, I would stop. I would crawl to my grave, like he wishes. But I love this more than I love myself. That's heavy. I birth him from within me as I create, so too am I born.
And he and I are beautiful.
That you are, good sir. You are beautiful. Oh, there's two endings. We got the self-portrait version. Music, art store, programming, and sign design by Indicis. I follow them on Twitter, I think is how I first saw this game. That's a really sad and like short and beautiful game. It makes me really sad. What the fuck? That's gorgeous. Did this creator make anything else? Hold on. Hold on, because this is a masterpiece. Give me a second. And this is... Oh, that's right. Snow White Ashes. And the other one was The Last Winter Night. That's right. I really wanted to play these games, but neither of them are released. Now I remember my pain. And this is, you need to give me more games ASAP.